So this is the second verse that they're speaking. It's like Brahma Samhita, this whole Pranaya Gita. Verse 31 to verse 41 in chapter 29. This is called Pranaya Gita because it reveals the intensity of great love, great attachment. We know pranayam, breathing. So the gopis are their breath, can you imagine, when you inhale, it's not your breath, it's your lover's breath. So their breath is Krishna, their prana. So they say, yapatya patya, yapatya patya, suridam anuvrittir anga, strinam swadharma iti dharma vida tvayoktam. Astveva me tarupadesha pade tvayishye, preshto bhavam stanubritam kila bandharatma. Astveva me tarupadesha pade tvayishye, preshto bhavam stanubritam kila bandharatma. So the Braja Gopis are saying, our dear Krishna, as an expert of religion, you have advised us that the proper religious duty for women is to faithfully serve their husbands, children, and other relatives. We agree that this principle is valid, but actually, rather than serving our children, husbands, and relatives, we should serve you. So one might think that's an expression of their emotions. Then the gopis show their logic and their reason. They said, after all, in other words, why are we saying, no, we don't want to serve our husbands, we want to serve you? We're not stupid coward girls. We have some logic, some reason, and now we'll present it. And this is Preshto Bhavam Stanupritam Kilabandha Ratma. They say, here's how we deduce this. After all, O Lord, you are the dearmost friend of every living entity, and you are the most intimate relative, and indeed their very self. Like we have relatives, mother, father, brother, and sister, but the gopis are saying you are the real relative. So they're bandhuratma. We'll get to that. So we can start with now that we had the BBT translation and Krishna book. If you're a little, attentive, you can extract the translation of Srila Prabhupada for each verse of the 10th canto, and where the translation of the verse ends, you can see where his commentary begins, and continue that commentary to where the next verse translation begins, and that's the cutoff point, obviously. But Srila Prabhupada, always true to his actual rasic and sweet bhakti Vedanta nature, he says, he's quoted, this is a verse by the gopis, the second verse of the Pranaya Gita, and Srila Prabhupada is saying, quoting, translating this verse, "O dear Krishna, you are the supreme instructor," because the word in the third line is Upadesh, Upadeshamrita, book of instructions. You are, oh dear Krishna, you are the supreme instructor. There's no doubt about it. Your instructions to women to be faithful to their husbands and to be merciful to their children and to take care of homely affairs. That's very sweet. BBD said household affairs. But homely is like, oh, you're homely. Like they see some little lady that's not with it. Oh, she's homely. But we'd rather think that's good because she's shy and has good qualities of a human being, or feminine qualities. Your instructions to take care of homely affairs and to be obedient to the elderly members of the family are just according to the tenets of the Shastras. But we know also that all these instructions of the Shastras may be observed by one thing: keeping oneself under the protection of your lotus feet. That's why it says in 11th canto, Bhagavatam, Devarshi Bhutatan Pitrinam. It says when a living entity takes birth, he has so many debts to his parents and the devatas and the animals and the cows and the rishis who have given us the Ayurvedic knowledge and the Jyotirvedic knowledge. So without that knowledge, our life would be very bumpy and difficult. One who acquires knowledge of hygiene and the stars and his past and present and future, and how to maintain the body and also how to ultimately get liberated. All this valuable knowledge is contained in the Veda, which is revealed by the rishis, by Krishna himself in some cases. So we have Rina, R-N-A. Rina means debt. So we have to do this yajna and that puja. But in that verse, Narada Muni is explaining in 11th canto, Devarshi Bhutatam Yinim Pritinam, he's saying all debts are accomplished automatically by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu. That's what the verse says. But Vishnu for us is Krishna.